Hello students, Jai Hind, good morning, welcome back to another lecture of science. In last lecture number 6, we were discussing about decomposition reaction, and you are given idea that there are three types of decomposition reaction, which may take place with heat, thermal, may take place with electric decomposition, and then third one which may take the aid of light. Understand, so that can be termed as photochemical decomposition reaction. Now dear student, before we start today's topic, let me at least write the titles, okay? Then we'll discuss lecture number 7, okay? Chapter number 1, that is chemical reaction and equation, okay? Chemical reactions and equations. Now dear student, as you all know, in our last lecture we were discussing about decomposition reaction. I must mention one very important thing. Suppose I ask you one question, that all decomposition reaction, that is either thermal decomposition reaction or electric decomposition reaction or photochemical decomposition reaction, in all reaction one thing was common, that during those chemical reactions heat energy was absorbed, either light energy was absorbed or electric energy was absorbed by the compound to decompose itself. So dear student, you can consider all chemical reactions which we have studied under the title decomposition reaction as endothermic reaction. To be more precise, the first reaction, thermal decomposition, understand, where we decompose calcium carbonate or ferrous sulfate or lead nitrate, all are actually an example of endothermic chemical reaction. You must be, before we start today's topic, if you are asked differentiate between exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction, how can you justify this answer? First, you need to write an accurate definition of both the reaction. Exothermic, you can write a chemical reaction in which heat energy is produced or heat energy appears as a product is known as exothermic reaction. Most of the combination reaction we studied in our lecture number 5, in lecture number 4, all were similar reaction. Endothermic reaction, if during a chemical reaction heat energy is absorbed, it can be called an endothermic reaction. In that exothermic, you can mention examples we discussed, and as far as endothermic reaction is concerned, you can represent or you can write any example involving thermal decomposition. Okay. Now dear student, in today's lecture we are trying to understand Rest of the two types of chemical equation, that is our target. Today, speaking precisely, will be the last lecture in this particular chapter. Okay, what topic we are going to target today? So we are actually targeting the topic today 2.4, understand, as per our material. And what is the title of the topic? Displacement reaction. That is what we are targeting today. Displacement reaction. We are going to study two types of displacement reaction. One is single displacement, that way as we will discuss in later half of the lecture. One is single displacement reaction, or you can call mono displacement reaction, and one we are going to target double displacement reaction. First, dear student, before we discuss about mono displacement reaction or double displacement reaction, first we need to clarify in our mind actually what is the real meaning of displacement reaction. What does it mean? What do you mean by displacement reaction? Name itself, I think, is giving you some idea. Displacement, the word is looking like substitution reaction. Here, dear student, actually what is displacement reaction? Understand, displacement reaction are totally based on difference in reactivity of different metals. You all know that all metals are not equally reactive, that you studied in previous standard also. All metal are not equally reactive as per the metal reactivity series. Some are least reactive, some are medium reactive, some are moderately reactive, and some are highly reactive metal. So when you compare two metal, obviously your common analysis is going to be like this, that one metal is always reactive than the other metal. Means some difference is always there in their reactivity, and because of the difference in reactivity of metal, displacement reaction take place. Understand, dear students? See, let us try to understand actually what happens if you compare two metals. Understand, suppose I say copper. You all know what is the symbol of copper? Cu, the with Greek name cuprum. This is also one line, dear student, you must mind it, cuprum. Copper, and if I take iron, suppose Fe, the ferrous, okay. Now let us try to understand. If I compare copper and iron as per the metal reactivity series, the iron is more reactive than copper if we compare it, okay. Iron is more reactive than copper. I am trying to explain you the meaning of the definition of this particular chemical reaction. When I will speak the definition and you will read the definition from material, you will come to know that why I am discussing this. Iron is more reactive than copper, that we all know. So now actually what happens if we perform one particular experiment to understand this? Okay, dear student, see, suppose I take let us try to understand this. In a vessel, suppose in a vessel I take copper sulfate solution, okay. In a vessel I have taken copper sulfate. You all know the color of copper sulfate. Sometime here also one line, dear student. Copper sulfate by common name also known as blue vitriol. Name itself gives an idea that it is a blue colored solution. Okay. So suppose we take copper sulfate solution. Here I have taken blue colored copper sulfate solution. This is copper sulfate solution. Now in this, dear student, let us take an iron rod and place in it. Okay, I have taken iron rod. This is iron rod. Okay, Fe. Iron rod, initially you all know black in color. So actually we are trying to understand mono or displacement reaction in better way just by one activity. Okay, blue colored copper sulfate solution, blue vitriol, in which we have kept, understand, black colored iron rod. After you make this arrangement, and if you observe for some period of time, what you will observe? If you observe and wait for some period of time, what you will see? The blue colored copper sulfate solution, understand, start turning greenish. This will start turning greenish, understand, rather than blue color. Not only that, dear student, one change is this. What happened? The blue colored copper sulfate solution slowly turn into faint green in color. Understand? Not only that, you will also see another change, that iron rod which was initially black in color now start turning black, reddish brown in color. Why it happens? Why the color change take place? Why iron rod become reddish brown in color? And why the solution turns, understand, faint green in color? Something must be taking place, some type of chemical reaction must be taking place, otherwise color change cannot be observed. Actually, dear student, what type of chemical reaction take place here? I am writing it here. See what we have taken. We have taken iron rod and we have taken copper sulfate solution. Understand? Now what happened when they both react with each other at normal room temperature? As I told you, iron is more reactive than copper. So iron displaces copper from copper sulfate and forms iron sulfate. Okay, dear student? So iron sulfate is formed. Because iron displaces copper from copper sulfate and copper is separated. Now actually what happens, dear student? Initially iron rod was black in color, copper sulfate was blue in color, but because the chemical reaction has taken place and a new compound iron sulfate is formed, from copper sulfate by this displacement, it is green in color. That's why the solution turns green in color. And displace copper from copper sulfate, this copper which is reddish brown collects on the iron rod, so it turns reddish. So actually what happened, dear student, if I accurately speak about this, I can say iron displaces copper from copper sulfate and forms a new compound. Understand why iron displaces copper from copper sulfate? Because iron is more reactive than copper. That's why. So if you see the definition of displacement reaction, dear student, you have physical copy and you read. In displacement reaction, what is written? In displacement reaction, more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its compound. Understand, that is known as displacement reaction. Here exchange of iron take place, iron displaces copper and a new compound is formed. Such reactions are called displacement reaction, and I must say that this is the best example of mono displacement or single displacement reaction. Okay, dear student. So when you discuss about displacement reaction at the same time, you are ultimately giving an idea about single or mono displacement reaction. Understand? When you want to remember the definition, never just mug up. Just try to remember from here. When iron displaces copper from copper sulfate, because iron is more reactive than copper. So to just define in word, how can you speak? When more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from their compound and forms a new compound by exchange of iron, such chemical reactions are known as single displacement or mono displacement reaction. Topic 2.4.1, precisely speaking, discussion with this only. Understand? So this is called displacement reaction. Dear student, sometime such 4 to 5 or such 4 reactions are given to you in exam, where first reactant will be the metal, second reactant will be metallic compound, and they are asking such a question. Such one question is also I have given. Understand, in objective section, if you can verify. In objective section, okay, in objective section, so we haven't given it, but we can discuss here, dear student, what type of MCQ they can generate. I give you in exam such 4 reaction A, B, C and D, where I will mention the first reactant as metal, second reactant as other metallic compound, and I will ask you a question: in which of the following displacement reaction is not possible? So at that time, dear student, you have to compare the two metal. One is given free, one in compound form, and you have to decide that either the first metal is reactive than other metal. Wherever in the option you find that first metal is more reactive than other, then and then the displacement reaction take place, and for that purpose you need to possess the knowledge about metal reactivity series, which no doubt we will discuss in chapter 3 when we study metals and non-metal. Okay. So this is mono displacement reaction. Okay. Now let us try to understand double displacement reaction. What do you mean by double displacement reaction? In monodisplacement, one metal displaces means one metallic ion displaces other metallic ion and forms a new compound. That happens in monodisplacement reaction. What happens in double displacement reaction? Okay. Name itself the topic 2.4.2, dear student. 2.4.1 that we already discussed. Okay. Now topic 2.4.2, that is double displacement. Double displacement reaction. What do you mean by this? To try to understand double displacement reaction, we will understand one activity under the same title, activity 2.4.2. What we are doing in that activity? So see, dear student, I am explaining that activity. Activity has been given there, but you first need to understand so that you are able to write even in your own word. Okay. See what to do in activity 2.4.2. Okay. The first in that you have to take one tube. Okay. Suppose in a tube I have taken in a tube sodium sulfate solution. Okay. Here I am taking sodium sulfate solution. Okay. Sodium sulfate, right? Formula, dear student, how to generate I have taught you. Sodium sulfate Na2SO4. Understand why Na2? SO4 has -2 valency. Sodium has +1 valency. So we have taken sodium sulfate solution in a test tube. Now in this sodium sulfate solution we are adding barium chloride. Okay, dear student, you have to add in this barium chloride. Again a question, everywhere MCQ can be designed barium chloride solution BaCl2 that is added to this. Both solution, dear student, if you think of sodium chloride or if you think of sodium sulfate or you think of barium chloride, both the solution are colorless. Again one line. What is the color of barium chloride solution? Understand? Transparent. What is the color of sodium sulfate solution? Transparent. Now, dear student, when you take two such compounds, one is means aqueous solution of the two compound are reacting here with each other. One is barium chloride and one is sodium sulfate. Now, dear student, when you are reacting two aqueous solution, sodium sulfate and barium chloride, and if you observe for some period of time, what you will see, dear student, within a short period of time, you will see. Here I am showing blue, but you will see tiny glittering white particles. Tiny glittering, understand? Tiny glittering white particles. From where these particles have come, dear student? Because there was no presence of any solid substance here. Two aqueous liquid solutions are reacting with each other. Then also after some time you observe a gelatinous glittering tiny white particle. From where they come, and for that purpose we have to understand what type of reaction must be taking place here. See, first we have taken sodium sulfate solution, that means I have to write aqua here. Now this sodium sulfate solution react with barium chloride. I have to write aqua here. When sodium sulfate and barium chloride solution react with each other, actually what happens? Exchange of ion take place between these two compounds. Understand? Sodium and barium ion are getting exchanged and they form barium sulfate, BaSO4, and sodium chloride. I am already balancing the equation. Sodium chloride solution is formed, but barium sulfate I am writing here S. Not only I am writing here S, but I would like to put one symbol with this. Understand, that is this symbol. I think I have explained you the meaning of this. Understand what happened? When the reaction take place between sodium sulfate and barium chloride solution, they form by exchange of ion sodium chloride solution. At the same time they also produce tiny white particles of barium sulfate. Rather than speaking tiny white particle, I can speak the word precipitates of barium chloride. White precipitates of barium chloride are formed. This is the sign. The downward going arrow is actually suggesting that barium sulfate tiny particle are precipitated. Understand? So this is called, dear student, a double displacement reaction. Okay? Actually what happened? How can you justify the definition of this? So when aqueous solution of two metallic compound react with each other, exchange of ion take place and they form another new metallic compound. This is known as, because here exchange of ion take place between the two compound, you can call it double displacement chemical reaction. Understood this? Here two solutions are liquid. What is formed are insoluble particles of barium sulfate get precipitated. That's why you can also call it double displacement reaction as well. The same reaction which I have explained can also be called precipitation reaction. So dear student, if you are asked in exam, what is precipitation reaction. So when two aqueous solutions react with each other, understand, insoluble particle of one substance gets formed, which can be called a precipitation reaction in material. If you read activity 2.4.2, in the last paragraph I have written, see, insoluble, what is I have written? Insoluble barium sulfate molecules are formed. Here the exchange of ion take place, so such reaction are called double displacement reaction. It is also known as precipitation reaction. Why precipitation? Because barium sulfate particle are precipitated here. Okay, so you can call it precipitation reaction also. Understood, right? This is example of precipitation reaction. One another example of precipitation reaction, if you can remember, that we have studied already while I was explaining you about the basics of chemical reaction, color change. Understand? At that time also I have given you idea about lead nitrate and potassium iodide solution, if you can remember, which form lead iodide and potassium nitrate. So that can also be written under this title, precipitation reaction. Actually, dear student, all, I must say this word, all double displacement reaction are precipitation reaction. Okay. So this is over, double displacement reaction. Now dear student, we are moving to the last one, that is last topic in this chapter. Okay, that is redox reaction. Actually the title I haven't given redox, I have given the title oxidation and reduction reaction as per textbook, but you can call it reduction reaction also. Okay, so we are taking, dear student, topic 2.5. I am writing here redox reaction. Actually redox means from oxidation we took word OX, from reduction we took word read, and it become redox reaction. Okay. Whenever in any chemical reaction oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously, it can be called a redox reaction. Understand? This topic is important for you because in 10th standard you generally deal with a simple type of redox reaction, but when you go to higher standard in 11, 12, you will understand many type of redox reaction. Here, to dear student, you just have to understand only one thing: when in any chemical reaction oxidation and reduction reaction take place simultaneously, it can be called redox reaction. First, suppose we try to understand one example, dear student. It has been given in activity 2.5, that suppose you take copper powder. Understand, in experiment it's so simple to understand that in a china dish, if you take copper powder and you wait for some time, so within short period of time, what you will observe, that on the copper powder you will observe a black colored coating is depositing on the copper powder. What is that? Actually, when this happens, understand why the black colored powder is getting deposited on copper powder. Suppose let me explain you this way, okay? In China dish, you have taken copper powder, okay? In a China dish, we have taken copper powder. This is copper powder only, dear student. Now what happens? That if you keep it exposed to air for some time, so within a short period of time a black colored coating start depositing on the copper powder. This black colored coating which is depositing is actually what? So try to understand. Undoubtedly, dear student, copper is not such reactive metal. Understand, but copper normally reacts with oxygen. Understand, and as a result, what happens? See, dear student, copper react with atmospheric oxygen and it forms a layer of copper oxide to balance it this way, a solid form. This copper oxide is actually black in color. So this black colored coating is of copper oxide. So actually here what happened, dear student? Oxygen is added in copper, so you can call it oxidation reaction. You all know definition in previous standard also you have studied the basic definition of oxidation. When oxygen is added in any substance, that is called oxidation reaction or reduction. When oxygen is removed, this basic definition I think must be in your mind. Oxidation means addition of oxygen in any substance. Reduction means oxygen is removed, that is called reduction. Here oxygen is added in copper, so you can call it oxidation reaction. Now, dear student, if you start heating this compound, actually copper powder, and on the copper powder there is a layer of black colored powder, copper oxide. Now when you heat it, it has been shown, understand, that you have to keep it on a wire gauze, right? And on tripod stand it is kept. And now if you start heating it, suppose you start heating it, understand, with the help of burner. They have shown burner here, understand. Now if you start heating it with the help of burner in presence of hydrogen gas, so what happens, dear student? This black colored coating disappears and immediately you will see the original color. Why it happens to such type of reaction take place? Try to understand. Copper oxide, CO, reacts with hydrogen. So within short period of time, dear student, you will see the reaction where oxygen is removed from copper and it adds to hydrogen, so hydrogen becomes H2O, understand? And this copper is now just a copper because oxygen is removed. So what happened, dear student, in this chemical reaction? From copper, if you just compare these two, from copper oxygen is removed. So can I call it reduction reaction? Why not? Because in this reaction oxygen is removed. Is it clear in your mind? From copper oxide oxygen is removed and it converted into copper. So this is reduction reaction, but at the same time oxygen removed. Now we compare these two, dear student. Oxygen removed is added to hydrogen and it become H2O. So this is called oxidation reaction. So both the reaction, oxidation and reduction, are taking place simultaneously here. So you can call it redox reaction. Which substance is getting oxidized here? Hydrogen. Which substance is getting reduced here? Copper. Understand? means copper oxide is getting reduced to copper, hydrogen is getting oxidized to hydrogen oxide. Such reaction was once asked in board exam, dear student. They have given an equation ZNO plus C gives Zn plus Co, and similar question that in the following chemical reaction which substance is oxidized and which is reduced. So you can understand now, zinc is reduced and copper is and carbon is oxidized. So this is redox reaction. Now dear student, with this if we discuss topic 3, I am not titling it, we are discussing because it is a topic simple. That is topic 3, effect of oxidation and reduction reaction in daily life. Do oxidation play a role in affecting our daily life? Yes, dear student, two effects. Topic 3.1, corrosion. You all know that whenever you expose iron, understand, to moist air, understand, moist air, oxygen present in moist air react with iron and forms a black brownish color, black grayish color layer on the surface of the iron. Understand, that you can call corrosion of iron, or you can say rusting of iron. So that rusting is ultimately an example of oxidation reaction. Sometime if you keep the copper, just now we have seen copper vessel exposed to air, their surface become black due to oxidation of copper in copper oxide, which is black in color. Similarly, dear student, if if silver ornaments are kept open, understand, then also you will see a green coating depositing on silver. So that is also one type of corrosion. Understand, that green color coating is silver oxide. So dear student, oxidation no doubt play an important role. Understand, so that is corrosion. How to prevent corrosion, that's a topic you discussed in previous standard as well. We will discuss it in detail in chapter number 3, metals and non-metals. Similarly, dear student, one another factor, that is rancidity. What is actually rancidity? You must have experience at your home also. You cut any vegetable, dear student, either potato or brinjal, cabbage, understand, cauliflower, bottle gourd, bitter gourd, whatever. You cut any vegetables and you keep it open to and you keep it exposed to air, you will see that the cut surface of that vegetable or even fruits turns blackish. Why? Because when you cut either fruits or vegetable and keep open exposed to air, it reacts with oxygen and their oxidation take place, which make them unsuitable for human consumption. We don't eat it. Similarly, similar thing happen with most of the fried items, dear student. If you bring at home any fried item, understand, right from market, or even you prepare at home, what happens? You have to eat it within some limited period of time. If you keep them exposed to air for more period of time, dear student, what happens? Their oxidation take place. Understand, and they not due to the oxidation, their taste changes, their odor changes. To be precise in one word, that fried food item becomes rancid. That is called rancidity. Understand, and it is not fit for human consumption. Mostly fried item, dear student, you people are eating lots of wafers in that. Understand, what is that? Those wafer are fried, understand, way back, and they come in market and then reach to you. It takes a long period of time. So if they are not properly treated, if the cheap manufacturer do not take care, then what happens? Those fried wafer or any item, kurkure or whatever, must get rancid and not remain fit for your consumption. But actually, dear student, whenever wafers and any fried item are packed either in container or in bags, these bags are flushed with antioxidants like nitrogen. Because they are flushed with antioxidant like nitrogen, it will not allow the rancidity to take place in this fried food item stored for a long period of time. Understand, dear students? So, chip manufacturers all are taking enough care to flush these bags and containers with antioxidant, not always nitrogen. There are so many antioxidant available, but needs to be treated with antioxidant to stop rancidity. Okay, so these two are, dear student, effect of redox reaction in daily life. Understood? With this topic, we are completing our chapter number 1, chemical reaction and equation. Okay, before we end this lecture today, this is homework from our section. Understand? सवाल हमारा, जवाब तुम्हारा. You verify, start verifying this section before I give homework here. Okay? You will come to know. We have started our lecture today with displacement reaction. So if you come to that particular section, understand, what is your homework for today's lecture number 7 is this. From our section, okay, we call it SHJT. Understood? You have to write question number. I am mentioning the number here, okay, number 14 that you will write, then number 15 you will write, number 16, 17, 18 and 19 as well as 20. I have given enough guidance and mentioned all reference where to write, which activity to write in your short note. Okay, dear student? So, in today's lecture, we are completing your chapter chemical reaction and equation. At the end of every chapter, dear student, you will have two sections. One is सवाल हमारा जवाब तुम्हारा, that section where you are given the short note and long LQs type question answers which you are writing in homework, but at the end one objective section is also given, which I highlighted in my first lecture about the material. In this objective section, you are given MCQ, true false, fill in the blanks and one line, true false, one line, fill in the blanks and even MCQ. All answers of all are given to you. Understand? As far as MCQ are concerned, understand, answer key is given at the end. True, false, fill in the blanks, answer are already given there. So, dear student, you also have to prepare objective section. I am not giving to write objective section, that you can prepare yourself. Okay? But with this lecture 7, we are completing our chapter number 1, chemical reaction and equation. Okay, dear student? Thank you very much.